Today I'll be taking this clip from a music video from this to this. This music video was directed by a director friend of mine called Spotlight. So he sent me this and he asked me to make it look great. As usual, as a colorist, the first thing you ask is, do you have references? What do you want it to look like? And he told me, just do your thing, make it look good. No references, just do your thing and make it pop. And that's what I like to hear. That's music to my ear. So I jumped into the software and I did my thing. And I sent him a draft and this is what he had to say. In this video, I'm trying something different. I've already color graded this project. I will just be like disabling nodes and showing you step by step the things I did to achieve this look. Anyways, that's enough talk. Let's jump into the software and I'll show you what you came here for. How to color grade a music video and make it what? Pop. Let's go. So this music video is not yet released and I don't want to give it away too much. So I won't be showing you everything. Maybe after the music video gets released, then I'll be able to show you more and I'll show you the full timeline. But right now, treat this like someone sent you something to create a look for them and you color graded it and you send it back to them. Just to have an idea, this is what I got. This is what was shot. This was filmed on the Sony FX3 and you need to know what camera your shots was filmed on. So that's one of the first things I ask when they send me a file. What was this filmed on? So in case you don't have my node tree and you want to be able to arrange your nodes this way, go check out the video on my channel. And if you need to learn how to install it, then you can follow through the video and you would understand how to use this. I made a full video talking about how to use this node tree. So this is my node tree that I use in almost all my projects. And I just love to keep it that way because it just makes my life easy. By the way, if you guys are thinking how come your node looks this way and it doesn't look the way yours look? So there's a pro tip. If you come here, I saw this on someone's channel while I was just watching videos I think 2 days ago. If you come to this place and you click this and you say show thumbnails, this is what yours probably look like right now. And you can see it's nice, but it's taking up a lot of space. I kind of like this fact that you can turn it off and show. So disable show thumbnails and you would have this look. I kind of prefer this. I think I will toggle in between them, but this kind of keeps things cleaner a little bit. So you can do that for your own software. All right, let's go into what we have done. So I'm going to disable everything. That's what I would do. This is the look. And I'm going to disable everything. Then we'll start from scratch and start going through the nodes. And hopefully this will be faster than me color grading from scratch. This entire grade took me, I think, less than 30 minutes, to be honest. All right, so let's start with the IDT. And this is the IDT and the ODT. So in the IDT, if I come to Effect, see I've changed from Sony S Gamut 3 Cine to S-Log 3. Then I've come to DaVinci Wide Gamut and DaVinci Intermediate. And in my ODT node, I came to DaVinci Wide Gamut to Rec 709 and to Rec 709A. I use Rec 709A because I'm on a Mac, but you can change this to Gamma 2.4. It just has a little brightness. Let me keep it on this for now and see if it changes a lot. But sometimes I just use my Rec 709A because I'm on a Mac and I want the colors to be consistent. Also, color management, very important to make sure that you are in the DaVinci Wide Gamut Intermediate color space. And you can see my output color space is also in Rec 709A because I'm on a Mac. If you're on the Windows, change this to Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. Let me change that and see what happens. So that's it, right? That's all I did in this bit. If you guys don't understand color management, I've got a video on my channel talking in details and breaking it down to you as a beginner. So we're done with this one. When we're done, we'll take it up. So let's come to exposure. That's the next thing I did. And if you look at this shot, it looks okay. This is what the camera filmed. This is me taking it back to, kind of Rec 709. And it looks okay. It's not bad, but off the top, you can see that it doesn't have enough exposure. So let me open. So I like to see this. It doesn't have enough exposure. So what I did was to kind of work on the exposure. So I brought it up a bit. And I did that by coming to HDR and I came here to my global. So I use global exposure because it works very much like you're exposing on your camera. So I bumped it 0.5, so that's taking it just to 0.5, just increasing the stop a little bit. I'm going to take it back now. Let's go back to 0.5. I think I'll go back to my Rec 709A because that's what I graded this with. I don't want to scatter everything. So let's go back to that. So that's what I add. So when I add my exposure basically brought stuff back up. Sorry, I'm going to change this quickly. Okay, just to be sure everything is fine. So exposure brought everything back up. And that's what I did here. Then I came to contrast. I don't like to push too much in my exposure because there's a lot of things that can still be done to push contrast back down the line. So I came to my contrast. So after the HDR, I also came into the primary color wheels, and I pushed my gain down. I pushed my gamma, just finesse this a little bit. Let me reset this and you see what happens. So you see, that's it before the primary wheels. And when I did the primary wheels, I kind of just lifted things a bit. Let me go again. So before, see where the waveform is here. And then when I bring it back up, so it's back up now. And then you can see what the waveform is doing. So that's what I did for this shot. And that's everything I did here. I didn't do anything more than that. Then I came to contrast and activated, and that's where I started bringing back the contrast. And I did that with a contrast wheel. I came to my curves and I kind of just curved down this. I think I didn't use editable spline. Did I? Okay, yeah, I did. So I kind of drew this S curve, just make it a bit smooth, making sure that I don't crush things too much here. I'm still looking at everything and making sure everything is fine. And that's all I did for contrast. I think I did something else. I did log. Yeah, came into the log wheel. Let me see if I did logs here. Yeah, I just pulled down some of the darks, and that's all I did here. And I think I pushed a little contrast with this one also, just to like bump it down a little bit. And that's it for that. Then I came to my favorite HSV saturation, which you guys know by now that I love to use this guy a lot. And if you guys don't understand how to use this, it's on my channel. But you can come to color space, HSV, come to the channels, deactivate channel 1 and 3, and just keep it at channel 2. And you would have this cinematic, in my words, saturation. I prefer this to the normal saturation. Then this is where I knew that I would spend a lot of time working, because as you can see, this entire shot looks warm. If you look at it very well, it just looks warm. It doesn't look the best in terms of white balance. And this happens when you're shooting because your light temperature might be in 5600, and most times people will set their cameras to that same light temperature. So if this light now is 5600, people might be tempted to like set their camera to 5600 so it matches the color of the light. However, there are times when you might need to cool down the camera a bit just so you can have some more separation. But if this happens, it doesn't mean that it's bad white balance. It just means that it's not properly balanced. And you can see from the waveform also, if you guys have seen my video about scopes, it's on my channel. I talked a lot about waveforms and how you can use your waveforms to like really know what's going on. You can see that the reds are raised in the highlights. So these are the highlights, these are the shadows, and the reds are raised. What that means is I need to balance this shot, try to like make sure things balance. So balancing it looks like this. So see? So what I did for balance was quite simple. I came here to my offsets and I pushed away from the warms and I pushed a bit into the cool tones. Okay, so basically what I did was doing what I would do normally by coming here to color, printer lights, and I will take away the reds. And if I come to my vertiscope just to show you what's going on, this was before. You can see everything is towards the reds and the yellows. There's not a lot in the cyan and the blues. So now I've brought it down a bit. I don't want to take it all the way also, because if I push it down more, you can see how much separation I'm having, and I'm losing that full warmth. I also didn't want to lose the full warmth because that was the vibe of the shoot. There was that warm tones in there already. So I didn't want to push it to this level where it now looks, too cool and you lose all your warmth. So this was before that, taking down the reds. And you can do that by just pulling here also. And it just kind of takes away the red for you. So I'm going to undo that to what I originally had, So let's do that. That's what I had. I just took a little bit out of it and I still kept some of the, the colors, because I kind of like the way it was looking. I like the greens, kind of green undertone that was there already. Now, just to make things clearer from how, when I start opening it more, I'm going to show you what I did there. There's a thingy that I put here, and this is Dehancer. This is Dehancer that I just started using. If you guys have seen my Dehancer video where I used it for the first time, if you've not seen it, check here. Where should I check? Check here. So you can check it there and here or there, wherever it shows on screen, guys. Just check this video and you will see firsthand my experience working with Dehancer. And one of the things I used here, just one thing that I used there, and this is why I said people like to slap Dehancer on stuff. I don't do that. So I just used the film emulation, which is the KODAK 2383. And that's it here. That's what I used. That's the only thing I used. If I remove it, you can see. If I remove it and I disable Dehancer. And this is also available in DaVinci Resolve, so you don't need to use this I just wanted to try it and see if because people used to say like the Kodak in Dehancer is way better than DaVinci. I don't know. I didn't compare them. But if I was using the one in DaVinci, I already have it here in the Note 3 that you guys have. So feel free to use that. That's the one in DaVinci. And this is the one in... So I think this is actually nice. It has this warmth in it. This is the one in DaVinci. But, you know, I could have used this also and that'll be fine. But I wanted to use the answer just to see, you know, because I'm open to trying new things also. If you guys think this is better, then buy the answer. If you think you're fine with the one in DaVinci Resolve, then stick with the one in DaVinci Resolve. So I'm looking at it now and I'm like, not bad. Okay, so I don't see a lot of difference. The only thing I would say is the answer feels like a bit more, just a bit warmer and maybe a bit more organic than the one in DaVinci Resolve. But I think that's relative. That's something that we can argue. And we're not here to do that, yeah? We're not here to argue. So let's continue. So I used the answer, just the answer. And what I do, I just created a node. I just came here, right click, and I said add node, and I said add serial before. And it gave me a node before this one. So nothing magical. So let's open that down so we can see all the decisions that happened underneath it. So at this point, I'm like, okay, this is the base of what I'm going to be working on in terms of look, and I just need to build around that. It looks dark now, and that's okay because the final thing got lifted. I just wanted to build from, you know, what would be the DNA of this shot? What would the reds look like? The first thing I was jumping at me was the reds, and I knew I had to tame the reds. So the next thing I went to in the Note 3 was my HSL, which is the hue, saturation, and luminance. And that was clearly to tame the reds. So I came to my HSL, and I will enable that now. And you can see what I kind of did. If I remove that, and I put it back. So if I come to my curves, so if you see hue versus hue, so pay attention, guys. Look at this lady, yeah? Look at this lady. Okay, I'll show you full view. Look at this lady here. See what she's wearing and see what she's wearing now. I wanted to separate the colors because it was blue on blue and it just felt like there was no color separation as much. I wanted to separate the colors. So I started picking the colors one after the other and looking at them and focusing on them. So I looked at the blue here and I, you know, swung. English is hard, guys. So I swung the blues into this kind of teal, just so it doesn't look flat, like it doesn't look blue, you know, it looks a bit different. Then I'll look at somebody else, like come here and say, okay, hope that's not affecting and destroying stuff. It's not destroying stuff. I come here, I look at this guy's stuff, I'm like, okay, this is better. So that's me focusing, narrow vision, like tunnel vision, just looking at one color at a time, seeing what it does, making sure that it doesn't destroy things before I move on to other stuff. So I'm done here. I'm done looking at the blues. I'm like, okay, the blues are still very nice and inked at. And all I did was, you know, I came here to my hue versus hue. I pushed my blue and I pushed towards, you know, some of cyan. I went ahead and I came to my hue versus saturation. And I said, okay, you know what colors do I want to push out more? Do I want to like pump, you know, give more color? So first thing I did was like my reds. My reds were like bothering me so much. So if I disable now, if you look at the focus on the reds now, look at this guy's red. And now, so I desaturated it a bit. I took the saturation down because I didn't want it to be too colorful. So I took saturation down. Then I increased saturation of the yellow because this guy's yellow wasn't giving. It was looking cartoon-ish, and I wanted it to like have some, you know, more denser color. So I took the saturation up, and you can see here, see what he's wearing here, see, and look at this place also. It's almost like there's nothing much going on. But so your job for music videos is to try to enhance colors, like just give it some love and juice and keep looking at it, making sure that nothing is destroyed while you're doing that. You know, look at this guy's red. Look here and see before it was just had that bright red that was just a bit distracting. So just a little bit of, you know, just show some love and people will be grateful. Then I noticed that this lady was wearing something, you know, I think this is pink. I'll call it pink, yeah. And I looked at that color also and I tried to like give it some just little saturation, you know. Look at this guy also, saturation. Look at this scarf. Look at this greenish kind of, you know, almost greenish yellow. I wanted to push it towards orange. So I made sure that everything comes to this, you know. There's another person that I was looking at while I was doing this. And it was this lady that was wearing, yeah, this lady here. She was wearing like this sweater. So look at it. This is before. This was what it looked like. It was okay, but it just didn't command. The color wasn't punchy. So when I swung it, it became this. You know, it gives it that dense color. And I was very open to, because some directors would like it, but they will want it a little like in the middle. They want it less dense. I prefer to punch it, and then they say, please take it down a little bit, than to not punch it enough. And then they'll be like, it's not looking, because people love colors, they love things to pump, and that's what your job is, to paint things for them. So I pumped it, and I told the director, I'm open to you stepping things back. And then initially he said, yeah, I think it's a bit dense. Then later he said, I've watched it again and I love it. It's great. I don't think it's too dense. So after that, I came to the hue versus luminance, and that's where I did actually most of the crazy things, because if I reset this now, you will see what happens with the colors. Because what you're seeing is not necessarily saturation, it's making colors denser. Because if you look at the saturation bits, if you come here, you see that the only things I popped saturation-wise was this pink, and then this guy is, carton color, or let's say yellow trouser and whatever she's wearing. If I reset that, let me reset that, you see, I reset that, like I said, that there's not much difference, because saturation sometimes is not necessarily what makes color pop. What makes color pop is sometimes the perceived brightness of that color. So when things are darker, they look more colorful, they look more saturation. When things are brighter, they look less saturated. It's just how we see things. Darker colors punch more, they feel punchier, they feel stronger, and that's because they look denser. So knowing that was what I needed to like create perceived saturation, because people will tell you, oh, make it saturated, and you can easily go there and pump saturation up and you will look ugly. What I did was to come to hue versus luminance, and then the colors I wanted to like stand out, I took down the luminance. So I'm going to show you what happens if I remove this now. So let's look at this frame, and then let me just reset it. Reset everything. I don't know if you can see the difference. So see, this is with the luminance resets, like the colors are not as dense. This could work. This could be something that a director will want, and it doesn't look bad at all. A director could be happy, would be happy with this, but I wanted things to be punchier, then we can step it back if we need to step it back. So let me undo that, and you see the difference. See the difference here. So let me redo. See the difference here. See what she's wearing, and see the difference here. It just calms it down and makes it look saturated. It looks punchier. So this is before, and this is after. And let's look at the guy. Let's look at the lady in the blue top now. So I didn't affect the blues. I brought down, the yellows and this other color, and that's why those colors look punchier. So if I look at this lady, see, look at this carton also, and then when I put it back, see the difference. So that's what that does, and that's what I did here. Then I came to the skin node, and let's enable that and see what we did. So for the skin node, go to disable and enable. What I did there was actually mild. It wasn't something that you will notice so much here, but you notice it in another frame. I'm going to go to another clip and show you what I did there. So let me I'm going to come to this clip. So in this clip, you will see what I did in that node, with the skin. And this is why I use a fixed node tree, because I don't know if you guys noticed that when I jumped to the next one, it still stayed, like my node stayed. So if I'm working on skin for this shot and I'm jumping here, I'm still on the skin node, and that might not be like what will happen automatically. You have to set it. So I think you will set it. You have to set it by coming here and saying switching clips, select same node. Because let's say it's first node, right? Let me put the first node. When I switch a clip, it will go to the first node. See? Come to the first node. When I switch a clip, it comes to the first node. But if I switch it and let's say I'm on contrast, and I'm working on contrast of all the shots, when I keep my setting to same node, as I'm jumping through the clips, it's going to go to the same node, which is a contrast node of that clip. So I can easily just go saturation, saturation for this one, if I was on saturation node. If that makes sense. So I'm on skin node now. If I'm working on skin here, I want to come and do the same thing for the skin here. I know fully well that I'm still on the skin node. If I didn't put that setting, I will have to be switching stuff. So this is what I did. This is what I used the skin node for. So I'm going to just show this part. So there are a lot of people that, including me, were very particular about making skin look very smooth and everything. And there are a lot of plugins to do this. There are ways to do it in DaVinci Resolve. There's the mid-tone detail. there's beauty, there's face refinement. I'll make a video about it if you're interested in how to smoothen skin. But there's a trick I picked up a friend of mine recently on using texture pop to kind of, make your skin, look better. So let me show you, for example. So let's say we're here, and if I disable that, if I disable texture pop, I don't know if you can see. I'm going to take it off now. You can see the skin. And if I put it back up, you can see the skin. Let me go closer. Okay. So that's it right there. If I remove, enable. So that's removed. So look at it, removed and back. See the skin. So what it looks like details wise. And when I smoothen a bit, so that's what this node was doing. I can show you how to use this in future videos, but I just wanted to show you quickly that this is something I picked up from a friend of mine recently. He was graceful enough to show me something he just also picked up from someone. So that's what we do. We keep learning now. We just keep adding things to our tool sets. So this is what I did here. I just did skin. And it works better for even when you go back to some of the shots, like this shots, something like this shots, you look at this shot, and if I disable the skin node, see the difference, and see the difference. So see before and after, before and after. Of course, this is a bit extreme, and I will still push it back because I was just using this for an overall feel of what it could look like and see what the director is comfortable with. How much you want me to work on this person's skin versus I can always take it back down, nudge it down. If you come to your effects, you can always come to your global blend and blend in a bit of the original skin, which is like this. So this is before and after. So this gives you, some, not too much. It's like mixing things in the middle. So, but that's what I do. I push things first. I want to see how it looks like at the craziest case scenario. Then I can easily pipe down for finishing. And like I told you guys, this is not the finished work. This is just me. It's a first grade that I've sent for approval. And so far, they are happy with it. All right, so let's continue down the line. And so the next thing I did was, after looking at this shot and seeing what it looks like and seeing the vibe and everything else, let me open this adjustment node and just see what's in there. Okay, I think I did a sharpen here. I'll show you what that is later. So I came to the next one and I did log. And the log node is where I pushed teal into the background. So look at the shot originally and look at it in log now. Originally and in log right now. This shot looks darker than I graded it though, but I'm going to quickly do something. Okay, I knew something was wrong. So I'm sure I messed up with something while I was showing you guys stuff. So what I did, I had to, before I started grading, I created the still images. This is just practice. When I'm done with a grade and whatever I'm feeling in the moment, I create like a still and right click and say grab still just to save that look. So I noticed that this grade looks darker than what I initially graded, and I didn't want to start trying to fix it or something. So I just came back here, right click and say apply grade. So while I was showing you guys stuff, I probably press something or I messed up with some exposure, and I'm not about to go through that anymore. So that's why it's great to keep your stills. So this is the look, and let's continue from there. So I've shown you what happened in the HSL, right? So the HSL, showing you what we did in the skin node, right? And if you look at the skin, you can see clearly what's going on. So see before, see after. I gave it some little brightness and just to pop the skin a bit. Then I came into this one, which is one of the bits that the writer was really fascinated about, because this green you're seeing, or this steel you're seeing in this scene, was not there when they were shooting. So that's what I pushed in grade. And how to do that is quite simple, simpler than you would think. So it's going into the log wheels and pushing your colors to just where you want to push it. If you have seen my video about the primary tools, which is I recommend you go see, I talked about the primary wheels, I talked about the lift gamma gain, then I talked about the shadows, midtones, and the highlights. And just to make that easy and simple for you to understand, so this is lift gamma gain, which is the normal primary color wheels. Then if you come into the log wheels, you've got the shadows, midtones, and highlights, and then offset, of course. What you need to do is to, let me create a new node and you guys will see. create a parallel node, and let me do that thing I did. So I came, instead of coming here and pushing into your greens, which if you do this here, it's going to affect the bulk of your shots, and everything is going into the shots, and you might have to like counter it and push back. And if that's the vibe you're going for, then that's okay, because this could be a vibe also, but that was not the vibe I was going for. So what I did instead is come to log, and in the log space, you can target, where exactly you want to push your colors. Do you want to push it into the bright point or the dark point? So if you come into the shadows, you can push your colors into the shadows only. You can see it's going into the shadows only now. See, I'm pushing this color into the shadows. If you look at it very well, you can see that some of my skin is still staying because I'm pushing only into the shadows, right? And this is how you can create some extreme looks at times. You can see what I'm doing. I'm just pushing it around so you guys can see. So what I did is to just come here and push into the tail. Just make sure that I push into the tail. And when I'm done with that, I'm come to my range and choose how far into my midtones do I want this to affect. Because it's like shadow, midtone, and highlight. So your range helps you to say, okay, focus the shadows here. But if I wanted to affect some of my skin tones, I can say, okay, increase the range a bit, come into, some parts in the midtones. This might not make a lot of sense now, but with practice, you would understand what I'm trying to explain. So let's say we increase the range. Now, the entire color is taking over the midtones and even the highlights, right? And then let's take it back. I think I might do a video that is dedicated to this log wheel because most people don't use it. They just run from it. And it's one of the things that most people use for color and look development, but they don't tell you. So after doing that, I want to combat it and push some warmth back into my midtones because that's where my skin tone, is sitting, and I want it to look very good. So I'll come back again to my highlights and just almost counter what you did here, just so you don't want your color to stain your other bands like your midtone and your highlights. And so I'm pushing that. So if I just remove and enable, you can see what I've done. I've pushed into the shadows, which is the dark side of the shot. I've pushed just cool into it. And then what I would do by practice is to come and clean up my shadows. I'll come to my loom versus saturation, and what I would do is to select a point here and bring it down. What that does for me is saying I don't want my blacks to be tinted by that color I just pushed into the shadows. I've explained this in the video dedicated to like primary tools. Please check that if you're still confused, and you would have a full understanding of what I did here. So that's what I did in this place. I finessed it a bit more, but that's what I did here. You can see the grains of the teal in the background, and that just helps to like separate the skin also and make sure that the background stands a bit further and then the skin sits on top of it. So that's it. I didn't use this secondary tool because I didn't need to use it. Like I said, I use what I need to use only. And then adjustments, I came here and I realized that the shot was a bit soft just because I used noise remover at the beginning. I used this because the shot was a bit grainy, if you can see very well. If you guys look at it, it's a bit grainy and I wanted to remove that. So I used my noise remover. You don't have to. The shot wasn't bad at all with the grain, but because it's a music video, I just wanted to keep it as clean as possible. Okay, so and if you check some things, we will look at our skin tone. We're sitting very well on the skin tone. The colors are looking nice. Nothing is over, so everything is fine. Then here I just added a little bit of sharpen, took it back to give it some more sharpness. And that's about everything I did on this particular project, if I'm right, in this particular shot. Nothing serious. This is what we had before, and this is what we have now. And you guys can see all the decisions that I took just to make sure that things pop out. So I started from IDT to ODT, just to recap. Then I came to my exposure, and I just bumped it up a bit. Then I came to contrast, just to give it more life. Then my trusty saturation, that I'm well proud of. Saturation, then I did my balance, which is where things started like to take shape because it was ready before. Did balance, then I came to HSL and I said, you know what, let's pop some colors and make sure they look great. If you shoot something very well, you don't have to do a lot in the grade to bring it back alive, unless you're pushing and you're going for a stylized look. Sometimes it's just little adjustments and improving the colors that makes it great. So skin, look at the skin, and skin just looks a bit better than before. Then I came to the log wheels and I introduce this color into the shadows. See before, so everything looks like a bit flat, there's no depth, but with that color, things just look better. Then this is, I didn't do anything here. Here, I have Dehancer giving me the film look, and that's what I did there. And that's probably one of that thing that makes it good, because with this one, you don't have to use the Cineon film log conversion. But like I said, I could have done this also and use this, and it's the same feeling. The only thing is this is a bit cooler, and that's because of the particular Kodak I chose. I could have used the warmer one, and I'm sure we'll get the same or similar look compared to the Dehancer. But in this one, I used Dehancer, so let's use Dehancer. Grain, I wanted to use grain, but I removed it. I tried the elation, I didn't feel like using it. I'll probably still use it in the final grade, but I didn't use it at the time. Glow, I didn't use glow in this one at all. And then adjustments, I used sharpen, a little bit of sharpen. I used this power window to refocus the light. So if you see, let me show you properly, zoom to window. Okay, so if you look at it very well, the power window here is the power window center. So what I did was I just created, I'm going to change, let me change my view now so we can see what I did, show thumbnails. So what I did was I created a power window here. Let me see if I can show you guys that. So I drew a power window here, right? And I used the outside node, and I just came to my curves and I brought it down in the middle, just a little bit like this. Okay, not too much. It doesn't look like, you know, something weird. I just brought it down a little bit just to kind of focus it, you know. Let me bring it down a little bit more. And that's all I did there. Nothing more than that. Just to see that, you know, we kind of have like that focus around what's happening. So another thing that I was tempted to do was to like knock down the light here. But because this is like a straight shot that was sent to me, like it was just the entire take, I didn't do that here. But when I get the timeline and everything has been cut into what it should be cut into, I will take down the light here. And I think I started doing that somewhere here. Let me show you. So you can see, I started doing that here at this power window bottom, which is why my node tree is very, very nice and it makes life easy for you. So if you see, what I've done here is to use this power window bottom. This is before, you can see all the lights showing on the floor, and this one. But the reason why I didn't use it for this test now is because by the time the shot gets here, then it starts to affect them, which ideally I would have taken off in this clip if I got the edited version. I hope you guys know what I'm saying. I feel like I'm rambling and I'm talking like you're in my head. Just trying to tell you how nice this particular node tree and how helpful it is. So if you guys have not picked up your copy, link is in the description below, so please go grab it. And that's about it. Nothing else. I think that's everything I did in this color grade, and I just copied it and applied the same vibe to this shot. This shot is very similar also. If you look at it, there's nothing different that I did. Look at the log that I did, for example. So let me go into Figure. You can see what I did. The same thing I did, push the colors, the teal into the background and brought out the skin. That's what I did on that node. And then the skin node, the same thing you see before. So what that looks like before now, and see what it looks like now. So that cleanup is very essential, but not everybody. Sometimes some people don't like it, and it's fine. I'm just going to bring it down a bit, not too much. So this is before, this is after. It just helps to like clean up the skin. And that's it. And this is how I created this color grade for this music video. Super thanks to Spotlight for sending me this clip. And shout out to the artist for allowing me to use unreleased footage to show you guys and teach you guys how to color grade a music video. So let me know in the comment section if you prefer this style of teaching you where I've already finished the grade and I just, disable and enable nodes and show you what I did underneath. But that's it for this video. On to the next one. Make sure you don't stop coloring. Thanks for watching and I'll see you. Bye.